Hey, Planet. Oh, Planet, you're shitting me. What's wrong with it? The PS button won't connect. Do you have another controller? Hey, Zatumbo. Hey, Ron. Really? So, okay. What do you have to do at this point, Planet? Eee! Yeah, Planet, that's weird, man. Do you have a friend who has a controller who can bring out, like, do you have a controller like a friend has that you can borrow to see if it'll work with your PS4? Just to see if it is the controller? No problem, Jojo. How is it? Alright, Planet, that sucks. Hope that gets fixed. Yeah, that's possible, Planet. That's happened before. I always leave my PS4 controller plugged in. Well, at least that's a little more realistic, Zatumbo. Wait, speaking of controllers not working, what's wrong with my trigger button? Dude, I'm holding down the gas and it won't go. Okay, there we go. This controller is not that old. It should not already be dying on me. Huh. Yeah. I mean, 9 and 7 is not impossible. Last year, 4 and 12 was stupid. Like, whoever wrote 4 and 12 should be fired, but 9 and 7 this year could happen pretty reasonably, if the defense isn't better. So yesterday, guys, after I streamed, I still played for a little while, and I bought this McLaren F1, and it's actually been pretty good for these races. So I'm going to use it until it stops working for me, but it seems to have a pretty high success rate with these races that I'm trying to do right now. Yeah, but Planet, you only have one controller, or do you have... You said you tried a second controller, right? That means it's probably not a problem with the controller. It's some kind of problem with the console. Does the PS4 turn on? Okay, it turns on. Oh, this thing's top speed doesn't match the top speed of the best cars here, so actually this is not a very good track for the McLaren. I'm going to try a different track. Oh, it is the controller. Okay, that's at least easier to deal with. Hey, JS. Thank you. Yeah, JS, that's the kind of stuff that's interesting to me. But that's really alarming, isn't it? Bobby Wagner's tackle depth was, you know, really, really sad last year. Planet, I do have Discord if that's what you're asking. Wow, they give... First place starts the race with basically a minute head start. Okay, that is brutal, dude. Yeah, I don't think we can trade him now. I follow Nathan Ernst on Twitter. I mean, more realistic is we just need him to play better. And that's not impossible. It's not like he's Ezekiel Anza or something, where his body is just toast. Yeah, Planet, you can always try Googling the problem. Somebody else has probably run into that same problem before. What? Really, Planet? That's really weird. Is there another PS4 in your house that it's turning on and off or something? This is off. I don't think so, JS. I don't think Bobby's... I mean, like, the best case scenario to me is Bobby has 2 more good seasons and then he's done in Seattle. Like, I don't know. I don't see it. Yeah, that's another idea, Planet. If you have a screwdriver, maybe you can open up the controller. I don't know what you would do. Oh yeah, I've never had to reset a controller before, but I guess that's possible. Yeah, I think you can get a paper clip too. That's usually what I use. Okay, no problem, Jojo. I understand. So anyway, I'm going to play for a while, but at some point I am going to go eat dinner, and of course I'm going to kill the stream for dinner, and then I'll be back on later tonight probably. So there's going to be a second wave tonight. I'm almost positive. This McLaren is actually really great for most of these races. It's actually much better than the Bugatti on any race that has a lot of twists and turns. So I might be able to use the McLaren to win a lot of these races that I was giving me some problems. Hey Kyle. Yeah, it took me like 4 days. And it was not easy to find some of those statistics. Hey, Jojo, if you're not looking at the chat right now, Planet Fox has a question about resetting your controller. Assuming that, you know. Or JS, or anybody else who happens to know. Break! Ooh! See, the Bugatti always goes right into the sand. This car, on the other hand... I think he means how long do you hold the bobby pin in the hole? Like, the thing is with Bobby is that everybody knew that he sucked at coverage last year, and it was pretty obvious why, and people weren't really holding it against him, which is totally fine. But, the fact that he sucked in run defense last year is really troubling. Well, and like, I think that a big reason why his average depth of tackle sucks is because of the defensive line. I got no problem with that. But the fact that even when they graded him on a curve, his score was really bad. Like, Luke Kuechly was on a terrible run defense, and that grading system still thought Luke Kuechly was great against the run. Bobby did not get that benefit. Bobby was actually considered worse than Blake Martinez, and Blake Martinez was the architect of one of the worst run defenses in the league. Like, 4.8 yards of average tackle depth is bad. It's not like Luke Kuechly had killers on his defensive line. against the run, and Luke Kuechly still had the 3.4. Well, is Reed good against the run? I feel like a lot of people say that, but I don't know if it's true. A lot of people say Reed is good against the run. I'm not convinced. Now, Planet, hopefully it'll be there in like 2 days, right? If you have the Amazon Prime, hopefully it can get to you in about 2 days. Yeah, it's Kyle, but we sucked against the run before Woods got hurt. Before Woods got suspended, excuse me. I think it got worse after Woods went out, but I'm pretty sure my Bobby Wagner evaluation all took place before Woods got suspended, because Woods got suspended for the last 2 games of the year, right? That article was written before Woods got suspended. Oh, you fixed it! How did you do it? Hey, Emmett. Hey, TJ. Well, Brandon Jackson has always just been a snap eater. Nobody thinks he's really good at anything. He just, he's just out there because somebody's got to be out there. A lot of teams have players like Brandon Jackson. What disappoints me is that we brought him back. Like, why can't we just let him go and try to get somebody else who can be the new Brandon Jackson with some upside? Yeah, we don't need another linebacker. What's up with that? Bruce Irvin should be playing defensive end exclusively, as far as I'm concerned. I do like games with a lot of grinding, JoJo. I am a fan of grinding in games, and I know not everyone is, but I'm down for that. Grinding makes it easy to look at chat anyway whenever I'm streaming it. Yeah, this guy's driving a Bugatti, and he's the best driver outside of me in this race, so this is doable with a Bugatti, but it is so hard to brake right. Yeah, Emmett, yeah, we knew his coverage sucked, and we kind of all understood that it wasn't really his fault, but the stuff I did at the end of the video was the stuff that really surprised me. Those advanced run defense metrics. Like, that's a real kick in the balls. I know run defense doesn't matter as much as it used to, but still. You would expect that Bobby would at least be good there, but he's not. Yeah, JoJo, metal slimes are kind of a thing in every Dragon Quest game, I think. I've beaten Dragon Quest 8, and Dragon Quest 8 had metal slimes in it. Well, JS, I mean, you say that, but this team currently has their second highest paid player as a linebacker. Their first round pick is a linebacker. They're paying like $8 million this year to a 10th year linebacker. It's like linebacker isn't important, but this team seems to disagree with that assessment. So I kind of need those guys to be relevant. Yeah, Bobby Wagner had an average tackle depth of 4.8. I honestly think that might be the worst total in the whole league of any high-volume linebacker. If Irvin starts at linebacker over Jordan Brooks, then that is just beyond asinine. Like, you're going to really redshirt Jordan Brooks' rookie year. I wonder if it has anything to do with the COVID stuff, and we feel like because it's going to be a weird offseason, he's not going to be ready or something like that, you know? That's the only thing I can think of. I feel like if you get a great defensive line, you can survive without the best linebackers. Your linebackers, whoever you get, will find a way to play well with the really elite defensive line you have. Yeah, and Emmett, one thing in that video that people should notice is that Luke Kuechly scored very well in run defense, and Luke Kuechly played on the worst run defense in the NFL. So that metric recognized that Luke Kuechly was doing everything he could, and it didn't matter. They did not come to that conclusion for Wagner. Like, I think Jordan Brooks may end up being a good player, but unless he's, you know, I mean, at the minimum, if he's not like a perennial Pro Bowler, it's still not worth it. Like, you can find a capable outside linebacker who plays off ball in the 4th or 5th round. Teams do it all the time. They don't have huge impacts on games. They don't. Unless you're a Pro Bowler, you're not having a big impact on the game as an off-ball linebacker. Like, honestly, you know, KJ Wright has been a great Seahawk. He made a Pro Bowl. He's had some other good years. He's had a great career here. He's done a lot of good things. He's been a part of some great defenses, but I don't even know if KJ Wright has a huge impact on the game in the way that you want your first-round pick to be. Like, if we had taken KJ Wright in the first round, I guess it would have been fine because KJ has played on the team for so long and he's been good. But I don't really view KJ Wright even in his prime as like a big-time impact player who's changing games and lifting your team to victory. So unless Jordan Brooks becomes the kind of linebacker who can lift your team to victory in a Derek Brooks or Lance Briggs or, you know, even a Clay Matthews sort of way, I don't know why you would mess with it in the first round. I mean, at no point in KJ Wright's career, except when we had a lot of injuries, was he a top 5 player on the defense, I don't think, except maybe last year. Okay, Planet, up to you, man. But one thing about that, Planet, is what if tomorrow your controller stops working? Don't you want to kind of do it now that your controller's actually working? Well, I don't know if KJ Wright was average last year. I got the impression he was better than average, but I mean, I could be wrong. It could be underwhelming. I would have to do a deep dive into KJ Wright that I probably cannot do because he hasn't been evaluated in the same way as Bobby was. No, TJ, I'm saying I'm going to play Far Cry next, not today. The next game I'm going to play after Gran Turismo on stream is probably Far Cry 3. But I'm going to play this until I either beat it or I'm done with it or whatever, you know? Because I like this a lot, actually. And this McLaurin is actually a kick-ass car that's helping me win a lot of these races. Yeah, Emmett, I agree with you on the defensive line, by the way. I'm not a big fan of our defensive line this year, but at least we moved some pieces around. At least we tried to switch things up a little bit. Yeah, JS, when does it come out? Last of Us 2. Does it come out in June or something? Yeah, look at this, guys. I couldn't even finish this race in the Bugatti because I would just scream into the sand every time. But the McLaurin corner is really nice. Okay, June 22nd. I hope the gameplay is good. If the gameplay is good, I'll play it eventually, but I have some concerns based off what I've heard about it. I did hear about that, Jojo. Yeah, well, the issue I have is if you're, you know, looking at Bobby, what Bobby needs are defensive tackles that can take up blockers and absorb space so he can be free to go after the ball carrier without getting blocked out of the play. And if you look at our defensive tackles right now, it's not really good. Jerron Reed has been good in the past, but he wasn't really good last year. Poona Ford is good, but he's limited. You know, he's a 2-down defensive tackle in the NFL. We have a couple of guys who I think could move to defensive tackle, and that's it. We've got 2 guys that we know that we think we can rely on. And both those guys are limited. Those guys are not sure things. And somehow we went through the whole draft without taking a defensive tackle. Alright, Planet, have fun. Planet, one thing is, make sure you set aside about 2 hours for the ending, because the ending goes on. I mean, if you've beaten Persona 5 Original, you know how long the ending takes. In this, it takes probably even a little longer. Like, I think our situation at defensive end is probably pretty good. You know, we've got some young guys like Green and Taylor and Atkinson, or not Atkinson, Alton Robinson. We've got some veterans like Mayoa and Irvin. We've got guys like, Rasheem Green. And we're probably going to get one more guy, Everson Griffin or something. So I think we're fine at defensive end, whatever ends up happening with the roster. So it's not that, it's the tackles. What 6 DNs do you think can make the roster? Well, Daryl Taylor's going to make it. We know that. Mayoa and Irvin and Green are going to make it. I guess Collier has to make it, although he might move to D-tackle this year, in my opinion. And then probably Alton Robinson, yeah. Shaquem only makes the team if he proves he can play a little bit of a, like, I think a little bit of a linebacker and special teams. If we bring, the thing is, if we sign Everson Griffin, who gets pushed out? Is it like Mayoa? Is it Alton Robinson? Is it, you know, I don't know. Maybe we move Collier to defensive tackle or something. Which, you know, to me that's a win-win, moving a guy like Collier to defensive tackle. Alright. Has Benson Mayoa ever played linebacker in his career? I didn't think so. That's true, Emmett. That's a good point, but they're not going to approve that, are they? There's no way. Like, come on, there's suggesting it is one thing, but if they actually approve that, like, you have to be kidding me. There's no way they actually sign off on that, I think. Yeah, Kyle, that's what I'm saying. What if LJ Collier could become our third defensive tackle? I think he's big enough. He's got the skill set for it. This race might need to be done in the Bugatti because the Bugatti has more power on that straightaway. Yeah, Yarley, actually, the video, I don't know how many of you guys watched the video I uploaded this morning, but that video actually said some very nice things about snacks, if you guys noticed that. Yeah, Kyle, that's not bad. You do probably need 6 capable linebackers on your team. I just wish instead of KJ Wright, we would bring in some young guy with something to prove. Yeah, Yarley, that's a little interesting. That's pretty appetizing to me. My only fear is that Snacks doesn't have very much left in the tank, but that's... Yeah, the McLaurin is not good for this race. he might not have much left in the tank. Like Mike Daniels last year, the Lions signed Mike Daniels and he did nothing. Well, Shaq, Flowers, Dunbar, and Amadi, and after that, it's kind of a crapshoot. I wonder if we bring back like Akeem King, just to have somebody we're a little familiar with. TJ, I think it's $6.5 million. Nico Thorpe is another one. But like, if you offered me either Akeem King or Nico Thorpe, I would shrug my shoulders. Akeem King had his moments, but there were also some games where he was just awful, like the Falcons. Andrew, that's no secret. He's trying to get more money. Oh, we did bring Thorpe back already. Okay, I see. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel you, Yarly. That's absolutely true. Well, in order to make the Pro Bowl, you need to put up some stats. So Diggs is going to have to get some picks. So, you know, we'll have to see if he can do it. No, I think Diggs played safety for the Lions. Oh, did he play cornerback? I don't know. Can't we bring in some young guy with something to prove and start him over frickin' Delano Hill? Why is he still on the team? Actually, when I was looking at numbers last year, Delano Hill's coverage stats were actually pretty decent. He just can't tackle. Well, when the Seahawks were at the top, they were picking up useful UDFAs every year. Doug Baldwin, Jermaine Kearse. Got to get back to that. You know, even Thomas Rawls, and I know Thomas Rawls didn't last very long, but getting a guy like Thomas Rawls ended up being kind of a big deal for about 2 seasons. So we need to start finding some good UDFAs, or else there's another area where the front office isn't doing its job. Kyle, I think it's mostly because Disley might not be 100% when the season starts, you know? Yeah, Andrew, a couple of them are going to make the team, I'm sure. I mean, for a couple years there, that was basically our whole receiver core. Baldwin and Kearse. Was Hollister undrafted, or was... No, Hollister was a Patriot for a couple years. We didn't get Hollister as a UDFA. He was, we traded for him with the Patriots for a 7th rounder, I think. Sounds like fun to me, Arlie. Demon Miner, no, we don't know. Nobody knows what's going on with, old Dunbar. He put himself in a stupid situation. Yeah, see, the Bugatti just doesn't turn well on that, right there. That's the one part of this track that the Bugatti doesn't handle that well, but I think I can make up for it on the straightaway. Okay, he was a UDFA for the Patriots, though. I mean, that's a little different than finding your own UDFA. I like this game a lot, actually. I don't play racing games that often. They're far from my favorite genre, but this is good. This is actually good. I like games like this. There's a lot. I mean, I like the simulation feel of it. That tends to be my favorite kind of racing game. Very in-depth campaign mode. It's kind of everything I want in a Gran Turismo game. The best linebacker in the league? You know, based off the work I did today, it really might be Zach Cunningham. I mean, Zach Cunningham, man, that dude swallows up running plays like nobody else. Demon Miner, I definitely would have taken a receiver at some point, probably early, and I probably would not have taken a linebacker in the first round. I mean, there's actually quite a bit I would have done differently, personally. Okay, I'm making good ground on first place, actually, but this turn up ahead is the one that always kind of is iffy. Yeah, Yarly, I hope you're right. We're going to find out this season because I can promise you one thing that I'm going to be doing in 2020, and I'm either going to do this on Twitter or on YouTube. I'm going to be closely monitoring Bobby Wagner in every game. And not just stats, I'm going to be looking at how he's actually playing. There's a difference. because if we have to cut him after 2020, that's pretty devastating for our cap. Because we are going to be dealing with a depressed cap this year. But if Bobby doesn't have an effective year next year, then I think that's probably what we will do. And, yeah, it's not fun to think about. Ooh. Oh. This is just the computer, Demon Miner. I'm trying to do the single-player campaign before I go online. If I do end up going online at all, it's honestly not super interesting to me. The best I can say for our first-round pick this year is that the last time the Seahawks did something conventional with a first-round pick, they took Jermaine Ifedi, so doing conventional things doesn't work for us. Is doing unconventional things really working for us anymore, though? I don't know. I feel like maybe not. But can people think of one good reason why frickin' ESPN or NFL.com doesn't put average tackle depth into their box score? Like, isn't it kind of important where you made your tackles? Like, that's common sense, but nobody ever questions that. Nobody's ever like, hey, what was the average tackle depth for this player? I mean, he got 13 tackles in this game, that's great, but where were the tackles? Like, that seems like important information that seems like fans just don't ever really think about. And it shouldn't be that easy to compute. All you need to do is take a look at every play where a player got a tackle and see how many yards were gained on that play. You know, something like that. It's not even like some super obscure advanced metric. You would just need one nerd with a couple of hours with nothing better to do. back here. Okay, I think I can win this race as long as I don't screw up the hairpin turn on the last lap. That's a good point, Yarly. That's a good point. The question is, are we going to want to give him any kind of deal at all? Can we at least get one good year from him, though? Like, we actually gave up assets to get him. I don't think that's too unreasonable an ask. Okay, TJ, that's a bit of a weird thing. I don't really know what to say to that. Alright, I think we got it. Yes. Yeah, I get them all the time on my videos, TJ. I mean, those people, they just aren't, they're just not built for my content. Which is fine. Damn. You know, honestly, when we took LJ Collier last year, I was more or less fine. I didn't understand how weak he was as a pass rusher, but he was the guy I evaluated as being a possible second-round pick. So when we got him in the late first, I was like, well, okay. I didn't really understand how limited he was in certain aspects of his game at the time, but when we made that pick, I was like, okay, I guess. Seems okay to me. I kind of wanted Darnell Savage. By the way, does anybody know if Darnell Savage was good last year? That was kind of the guy I was excited for because he's a safety who runs a 4.340. I love that shit. Yeah, I know, Yarly, but it seems to me that even when LJ Collier is good, he's not good as a pass rusher. He's good as a run stopper. I wouldn't have minded taking Montez Sweat, but obviously he had severe medical issues. Yeah, me and Emmett have talked about this in stream before. His skill set seems like it could lend itself well to playing on the inside. And maybe Rasheem Green too, although him I'm not so sure about because he's a little smaller, I think. When we drafted Rasheem Green, they said he was like Michael Bennett. I remember that. The thing with Rasheem is he's playing pretty well on the edge, so maybe you don't want to mess with that right now. Yes, TJ, Naz Jones is gone. Another member of our recent draft classes bites the dust. What did you do that for? Oh shit. That corner kills me, man. Yeah, I really liked Naz Jones for a little while there. I thought he was the future. But can't count on him. He reminds me a little bit of Jordan Hill. Can't win with him, can't coach him, can't do it. Wow, okay. Even in the McLaurin, this race is tough. You really can't afford to overshoot these corners. Who's had worse drafts in recent years, the Giants or the Seahawks? Like, the Giants have had some miserable drafts lately, too. And even their players that are good, like, you know, Saquon's good, like, but does it matter that much? I don't know. He's a running back. And, you know, Daniel Jones, I think, is probably going to be pretty good, too, but was he worth the 6th overall pick? But they've had a lot of bums in their draft classes lately. DeAndre Baker. Eric Flowers. Oh yeah, Will Hernandez is pretty good. Although he's, if you look at other like highly drafted offensive linemen, like he's certainly no Zach Martin, you know? Like Zach Martin's the best guard in football, and he became the best guard in football very quickly. Will Hernandez is just solid. Yeah, Justin Pugh. I think Justin Pugh was like a 7th round pick, though, so him sucking is not the end of the world. Or wait, was Justin Pugh an early pick? For some reason, I thought he was a late round pick, but now as I'm thinking about it, I'm not sure. Okay, Ruiz, one thing you got to remember is nobody else is signing those pass rushers either, so it's not like we're necessarily losing out on anything. We just need to make the move before the other teams make their move. Well, yeah, Yarly, those are only 2 picks in that draft worth of crap. Who else in that draft class became good? Like Ethan Posick is a question mark, and that's it. Yeah, Posick. And we still don't have any idea if Posick is good. Shit. Okay. TN Avon, I don't know. I'm really confused about that, and I'm going to just sit on the sideline and wait to see what happens. Oh God, dirt. Oh, Justin Pugh was a 1st pick. Okay, who am I thinking of then? I know they started this one offensive lineman for a while who was like a 7th round pick. But yeah, Pugh and Flowers, man, what a whiff. What a couple of whiffs. Even Odell Beckham Jr., like Odell Beckham Jr. is an awesome player, but they didn't win anything with him, and then they traded him. And they got a pretty decent return, but even that's like, eh. Yeah, Yarly, I'm very confused about this whole thing. I don't know what to expect anymore. TN Avid, that's not going to happen until right before the season starts, I don't think. There's no way I can make a prediction right now, dude. No way. There's so much more we still have to learn. Well, TJ, they're not very well coached. And Evan Engram is not very good. He can't stay healthy at all. Evan Engram is like Hunter Henry 2.0. Right down to the alliterative name. Yeah, I read an article on Facebook last night, actually, about how there are some very encouraging signs that the Seahawks are going to open up their offense in 2020. And, you know, we probably read that article every year, but this one made some pretty good cases for why it's reasonable to expect the offense to be a different animal this time around. What draft pick am I most excited about? Probably Darrell Taylor, because he's going to have the biggest opportunity to help the team win. Yeah, but it's not that exciting to see Damian Lewis. If Damian Lewis is good, you're not going to really notice him. Offensive linemen are at their best when you're not really noticing them sometimes. If Darrell Taylor's doing good, we will notice him. It's kind of like Earl Thomas. Back in the day, some of Earl's best work was when we didn't even notice he was there because he was just blanketing the deep zone and not letting any passes go over his head. Yeah, Yarley, well, hopefully one of the ways they deal with that is they don't play them as much. They don't give them the ball as much. Like, if we ran the ball a little less and passed the ball a little more, it would make life easier for those guys. That's one thing I wouldn't mind seeing, you know? What, Anthony Gordon? And honestly, you know, you can get Carson the ball a little bit more by throwing him passes out of the backfield. I think that could work nicely. You don't have to just give him, you know, handoffs. You can throw screen passes. You can line him up wide. I think he's proven to be pretty good at catching passes. And, you know, that's another way to get him the ball that still allows you to potentially have bigger plays and more productive results. Though. I think so, TJ. It's something like that. Yeah. I'm wondering if Penny's not really going to have a good season because he's coming off the injury. Like, what if he doesn't have his burst? Remember, it could be a shortened season. I think the season getting delayed works in favor of everybody except really young players who don't have an injury history. Like, I think Wilson and Wagner would both like a shortened season. if Wilson and Wagner get a shortened season, they're going to have more left when the playoffs come around, you know? Probably not, TJ. Rookie of the Year always goes to quarterbacks. Or running backs occasionally. Like, they had to give Rookie of the Year to Saquon because he had 2,000 yards. He doesn't even have to play like Kittle. He just would have to get to like 800 yards or something. And Disley's great in the red zone. He could have double-digit touchdowns without even having a monster year yards-wise, and that could be enough. Like, I think one of the bigger possible comeback of the year players would be Roethlisberger, and I don't really think he's going to put up enough numbers to do it. Like, other than that, who are some of the guys who could be obvious comeback player of the year candidates? Like, who got hurt last year or who sucked last year? Like, Disley could have 500 yards but still have 10 touchdowns. He's capable. Right now, he's our best red zone receiver and receiving threat, I think. Metcalf hasn't established himself like that yet. He could get there. Yeah, Andrew Luck would be a good one if he comes back. Jay Cutler, I guess. What if Trubisky gets in there and has a good year? Or I guess either Bears quarterback could win comeback player of the year. I don't think so, Andrew. I don't know. I mean, I don't see how they can think Ursua is part of the plan when we already have too many slot guys as is. We need an outside guy, if anything, and Ursua can't do that. Oh yeah, Gronk. Actually, Gronk, if he has a decent year, would really be likely. That's a good one. Gronk winning comeback player of the year. I could totally see that. I still can't believe he came back. Like, how stupid are you, dude? You've already had 30 billion concussions in your career. No! Finally got me. Yeah, but Baker's only been in the league 2 years. I can't call him the biggest underachiever ever. I don't think Percy's going to come back. That just strikes me as him messing around. Tough for me to believe Percy would actually come back. Oh yeah, Seth Dawkins, I've heard that name. I mean, when you have a good quarterback, it's pretty easy for a receiver to be the best version of himself. So, these guys are going to have every opportunity. Can't Lynch just retire and become like a coach? Or, you know, one of the players can pay him $100,000 a year to come hang around the team? Why does he have to take up a roster spot? I don't want to give a roster spot to a dude who isn't going to ever be given the ball. Roster spots are valuable. Lynch and Luke Wilson can go both sit on the same couch until we start getting some players injured, and then they can come in. Luke Wilson's new career is just sitting around at home waiting for Will Dissly to get hurt so he can go help the Seahawks. Every year for the next 10 years, he just waits for Luke Wilson to tear his waits for Will Dissly to tear his ACL, and then shows up to camp the next day. Carson is going to be ready barring a major setback, TJ. We don't have to worry about Carson, I don't think. Penny, maybe not, but Carson should be ready to go. Good question, TJ. I don't know. Like, especially when you look at some of these roster decisions we're going to have to make, we need every last roster spot we can muster. We cannot afford to give away any roster spots to charity cases or cool dudes or anything like that. Because I expect us to carry 4 tight ends. I expect us to carry a lot of interior offensive linemen, although hopefully not as many as we have right now. We might need to carry 4 running backs because of the penny thing. It might not be a bad idea to carry an extra cornerback for when Dunbar inevitably gets hurt, which we know is going to happen. We just have to hope it's not that bad. You know, it's not easy to get together a roster of 53 or 55 or whatever it is now. You have to take full advantage of every single slot on your roster. I mean, Blitz can't be an easy job, I will say that. He deserves to get paid a decent amount. But yeah, anyway, guys, I hope you liked the Wagner video today. Took a while to put together and edit together and all that, but hopefully I was able to get the overall point across. Like, I'm not surprised that Bobby sucked in pass defense last year, but for him to be that weak in run defense is really alarming to me. That's something that makes me go like, oh, this guy might be about done. No, Ron, there's no point in getting mad over it. It doesn't matter. Don't let that shit get you mad. It's irrelevant. And if anything, provides bulletin board material for this team that generally seems to do pretty well when you challenge them like that. Whoa. Whoa, what the hell am I doing? Guys, I just fell asleep, basically. I closed my eyes. Wow. I don't know what the hell just happened. I fell asleep at the wheel for a second there, guys. And I completely forgot where I was. That was weird. That was spooky. I thought Forza was Xbox only. Isn't Forza an Xbox exclusive? Hey, Ruiz? Yeah, Emmett, I fell asleep at the wheel. I don't know how else to put it. I just woke up and I was way off the track, basically. That was... Yeah, K. Ruiz, I do not have an Xbox. Yeah, Ron, I kind of ran into that too. People just grief you for no reason. What do they call them? Griefers? Well, at least it happened in the video game and not real life. I mean, we still need the ability to put competent stuff around Wilson. Like, if we had Russell Wilson, but his receivers were like Malik Turner and David Moore and, guys like that, he wouldn't be able to win games. If you gave him nothing to work with, he wouldn't be winning shit. No, TJ, I definitely do not. One time in Minecraft, I did the Alt F4 trick. I was playing Minecraft online, and I was in a multiplayer server where he had flying enabled so players could fly. And in order to activate flying, you just had to quickly tap the spacebar twice. So somebody came in the server and was like, you guys are all flying, how do you fly? So I said, you hit Alt F4. And then like 2 seconds later, he logged out of the server. I've never heard of Minecraft The Walls. Yeah, there are lots of ways to grief in Minecraft if you want to. It's one, and a lot of players grief themselves. They try to build a fireplace in their house that's made out of wood. Like, it's pretty much impossible to make a firehouse in a fireplace in a house made of wood. It will catch on fire eventually. It's literally just a matter of time, I'm pretty sure. I was watching this video once of this guy who ran this Minecraft server that had like, 50 people in it or something. And he gave everybody mod powers all at once just to see what would happen. I think everybody started making like giant swastikas with made out of diamond. They also started summoning a bunch of ender dragons over and over. And withers. It was pretty chaotic. I did it again, guys. I fell asleep at the wheel. That one didn't cost me very much, but what is going on? I am tired right now for some reason, man. I am falling asleep in my chair. Well, yeah, I mean, Emmett, it's just, Minecraft is full of, a lot of kids, and kids, their first instinct is to try to be edgy. And what's edgier than that? I have never seen SpongeBob. I gotta be honest with you. I don't know if I'm a fan of it or not. I was a little old for SpongeBob when it started, and I was never one of those people who went back and tried to watch it when I was, a little beyond its demographic. Yeah, I know all the SpongeBob memes, but I never watched it. Well, I just mean that when SpongeBob started, it wasn't really in my age demographic. Also, I never watched Nickelodeon when I was growing up. That was not my channel. I don't know why exactly. There was no reason for it. It just wasn't the channel that I tended to watch. Yeah, it's crazy how fast that stuff moves sometimes, though. Like, there's this one YouTuber I follow. He's got, over 1 million subs. He's a pretty big deal. And he's 25, so he's 5 years younger than me. And the show that he associates with his childhood, like the show that he watched the most when he was a kid, was iCarly. And he's only 5 years younger than me. And I remember thinking iCarly was, like, way out of my range when it started. So it was kind of like, wow, man, these kid fads, they move so quickly. I feel like iCarly almost could have been a show that if I had kids when I was young, they would have been watching. But it really wasn't that long after I wasn't into that kind of stuff anymore. I don't know, just something weird, just something kind of interesting I observed. Oh, I remember DuckTales. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that I'm just a straight up millennial. In terms of age, anyway. Yeah, I guess I would have to be. I don't have much in common with millennials. I'll say that, generally speaking. We all know the baby boomers are the worst generation, though, right? Like, everybody understands that. Yeah, but the boomers ruined everything that the greatest generation set up, man. The greatest generation had that shit on lockdown, and then the boomers ruined it. Millennials didn't ruin, you know, an incredible setup from Gen X. At least I don't think so. Gavin McInnes has a video, I think it's still on YouTube. It's like the 10 reasons why baby boomers are the worst generation. I've watched it a few times, it's good. Robert probably owns 16. Oh, you've seen that video, Ron? Yeah. Wow, I am way ahead of everybody. Yeah, the McLaurin actually makes these races pretty easy. It's much easier to control on the corners. The McLaurin's awesome. Yeah, Emmett, I don't know if Gavin got all his stuff taken off the internet or not. I know he got banned permanently from Twitter, and I don't know what he's up to these days because it's hard to keep track of him, but I know Twitter just straight up perma-banned him. Which I still think is nonsense, but whatever. No, Ron. He didn't get me too'd. He just pisses a lot of people off with his views. Like, have you ever seen the Fox News clip of him on, I can't remember whose show it was on, Bill O'Reilly? Like, have you ever seen that clip? Where he's talking to that one woman? That one you can, yeah, I think it's the O'Reilly, oh yeah, it was Bill O'Reilly, okay. That's a great clip, by the way. Legendary Demon Miner, if they want to sign a one-day contract to retire in Seattle, that's fine. I would be okay with that, but I don't need them to come here when they're washed up and make their last memory as a Seahawk for me be them getting toasted in the secondary. Like, both those guys are already starting to look like they might be on the wrong side of their careers. Alright guys, I am going to go eat dinner. I'll be streaming again in like maybe an hour, maybe a little more, I don't know exactly, but I will be back tonight. So keep an eye out and see you guys later.